Lancescurv. I'm going live. I'm going live. I don't know why that stuck in my head. You know the old Rolls Royce song from Car Wash. Working at the car wash, girl, or boy, or whatever. I remember that. I went to the movies to see that. My age, because I was alive to be able to see that. I was alive. Just want to welcome everybody on in. We're going to break some more stuff down. Yes, Gifty, you here? You are here. Exactly. I remember a friend of mine, I won't say his name. Everybody knows him here. He comes in occasionally. And he said the shortest joke in the world. There was a young lady, it was back in the early 80s, that came on the song, and we were all like kind of hanging out in my friend's basement. And she broke out singing the song. Now, she didn't like him too much, right? At first, he had a crush on her, and then she showed her behind that she didn't like him, but in a rude way, kind of, in an insulting, snubbing way. So we all had the mutual friends and stuff, so we were all hanging out together. So she breaks out, I'm going down. And then he said in a soft voice, on who? There was a silence. There was a silence in the room for 10 seconds. And even her side of the room, her friends busted out laughing. That was 2 words, on who? Yes, you're the first one in the class. Yes. Got to teach us how to conjugate those words. Inside joke, y'all. But today, let me put up this banner to show you what the topic is today. If you don't already know it, the American dream, a deceptive mirage fueled by hustle culture. Every day I'm hustling. I jotted down a few bulleted points that I want to read off. And let me just check over them, make sure that everything is in order. I just published the article on Lancescurv.com. If you go to that specific page, or if you just want to watch the show on Lancescurv.com, it's right there on the homepage, as always. We make sure to keep things in order. You know, it's really good when you have your own style, your own rhythm, and you can move just right. You know what I mean? That happens when you clean house. You don't have too many chefs in the kitchen. You don't have too many trainers in the boxing ring. I have but one trainer that's Cuss the model, and they know who they are. And that's the only person I listen to is Cuss, because Cuss never led me wrong. So we're ready to level up and upscale this channel and this whole experience, and we're going to have it real good. Because before we used to have people who smile in your face and they try to sabotage you. You can't have that. Tracy J. Oh, wow. You just got off the plantation. Wow. It me feel like I'm watching Roots. Just got off the plantation. Look, I'm ready to sip a little water right now, and the show just started. Just give me like 9 seconds. For some reason, I've been looking to drink lemon water all the time and cut back on sweet kind of things. Even if it's natural, I kind of cut back on it. Yes. Okay, here we go. The American dream, once a symbol of opportunity, has morphed into a deceptive mirage, ensnaring millions in a relentless pursuit of success. At its core, this dream promises that hard work will lead to prosperity, but for many, it has become a nightmarish cycle of endless toil. Hustle culture, which glorifies overwork and the sacrifice of personal well-being, only exacerbates this illusion, pushing individuals to trade precious time for fleeting financial gains. In this discussion, we will expose the true nature of the American dream and hustle culture, identify the dangers of overextension, and offer practical steps to break free from this destructive cycle. The American dream is often portrayed as the ultimate goal, owning a home, climbing the corporate ladder, and achieving financial freedom. While hard work is undeniably important for success, The problem arises when this work becomes all consuming, driven by a false narrative that more hours, more effort, and more sacrifice will eventually lead to happiness and fulfillment. The reality, however, is that this dream is largely unattainable for the majority, as the system is designed to benefit the wealthy, few, while keeping the working class in a perpetual state of struggle. Nightmare, a perpetual state of struggle. That's terrible. Who wants that? But they make it seem that that's the only way to go. You see what I mean? Big businesses and corporations have mastered the art of exploiting this dream, enticing workers with the promise of promotions, higher salaries, and career advancement. Yet, these rewards often come at the cost of one's health, relationships, and overall well-being. The seductive allure of climbing the corporate ladder often leads individuals to become high-paid salary slaves, trapped in a vicious cycle of earning more only to spend more, ultimately drowning in debt and stress. Hustle culture glorifies the idea that working long hours and constantly striving for more is the key to success. This mentality has permeated society, convincing people that taking time off, prioritizing sleep, and spending time with loved ones are signs of laziness or weakness. Instead, the hustle mentality pushes individuals to sacrifice everything in the name of productivity, leading to burnout, poor mental and physical health, and a lack of fulfillment. The danger lies in the normalization of overwork. Many people believe that working 60, 70, or even 80 hours a week is a necessary step toward achieving the American dream. However, this mindset only serves to keep the wealthy in power while the working class exhaust themselves in a futile attempt to achieve a better life. The truth is, more hours does not necessarily equate to success. In fact, overextending oneself can have devastating consequences, including chronic stress, depression, and a deterioration of personal relationships. We're going to get into the red flags, recognizing the signs of overextended oneself. Let me tell you something. Me, myself, Had Not and Sons, welcome on in. And of course, we mentioned and honored Tracy J and Gifty Sine. Thank you for letting me know the audio was good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have my Breakfast Club microphones on, my little cloud thingy there in between. So I know it's got to be good. But yeah, I remember when I was working in corrections in Orlando, Florida, and there was just so much overtime offered. And I kind of got caught up in the culture of corrections, especially there, where the overtime that was offered, it was like, okay, you take 2 or 3 for the week. Why did I take 6, 5, and 6? Why did I go and come in on my days off? Why did I come in on my days off and work doubles? I would usually work my regular shift, and they had certain rules in place so that you don't overextend yourself. Number one, you couldn't work a double 3 days in a row. That was just too much. What you can do, just say your Monday through your Friday, whatever days it fell on, we'll say that to keep it simple. Monday, you can work a double. Tuesday, you can work a double. Wednesday, you couldn't. Thursday, you can work a double. Friday, you can work a double. Saturday, you can work a double. And Sunday, you can work a double. So that meant you can do 6 doubles in a week in the 7 days. No. I'm sorry. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 on the weekend, right? And you can do 4. Okay, it was like 8 that you can do. And because that place never changed, and people have holidays and things that they get into and everything, Christmas was the same in the jail as it was on New Year's. Nothing changed inside. And you kind of got zombified to that atmosphere that when you came out in the outside world, you didn't feel it as much because people were going for the money. And there are people, and there was one person who I know, a dear friend of mine, God rest his soul. I hate to say it, but he was one of the guys who traditionally did like more overtime than anybody, right? Now I was right behind him. There were like 5 of us. There were about 5 of us in the whole facility. Now behind the 5 was some who did lots of overtime, but nothing consistently like us. And I almost, I got into that thing so deep. And I'll have to say in that particular time period in my life, on a marital level, I was having issues at home. So I would have rather stayed at the jail and worked more than come home, which is bad. But that's the truth. But I was so much into doing the overtime that I got the nickname by many of the supervisors and many of my coworkers. We all had nicknames for each other. I'm crazy. I'm telling jokes. I'm giving nicknames for those who can handle it. I'm even drawing pictures and caricatures of some of the coworkers and inmates who can handle it, right? But I was known as the overtime whore. I was known as the overtime whore. So they wouldn't have to ask me anything. They say, Lance, or Scurv. You ever been on Scurv? That's what the Scurv stuff, not originally, but that's the modern, way of calling me. Hey, Scurv, what you doing tomorrow morning? I got you. If you need me, right, be there. Now I knew the supervisor and I knew his area. He did not have to tell me. And I had a good reputation for always being there. And I made lots of money, but I really didn't have anything to show for it after a while. I wasn't recklessly spending. It's just that in spurts, when you go for, I need a little extra boost for this down payment of the house. I need a little extra boost for this specific thing. It just seems like it lasts, but when you're just doing it to do it, and even the females, the female supervisors, they would come by, Lance, I'm in need. What are you doing Wednesday? I said, I'm going to take care of all your needs Wednesday. What post do I have? And so people get, oh God, that's sexual harassment. Well, we talked that way because we were kind of thought we were like one big happy family, but we weren't. When you look back, it wasn't that way. I found out, but I did have a lot of fun there. But it was a jail. The gloominess of it all, the way it was painted on the inside, just like most schools, school to prison pipeline. I could understand that. Bells go off and, wow. And you trade all this off for what? And like the other end of it, really, and I'm going to get into the red flags. I just want to run my mouth a little bit. Libby Lou, welcome on in. Peace, y'all. Yes. Riri. Yes, we are live. We're live. Yeah. Okay, what's she say? Peace, Lance. Hey, family. Has anyone had debt erased yet? Let me see also what Gifty is saying. Sister Gifty is saying, I feel sick and depressed from overworking and being undercompensated, ever planting, never harvesting. I know that's the way you may feel, but just a slight alteration of realizing that these people like to use us, and it's our mentality. Nothing wrong with what you're doing, but you can't land yourself there, and really, that's like, when you go over the double line on the highway and you might kind of not fall asleep, but they got those little raised reflectors here, and it wakes you like, oh, let me get back in the lane. You know what I mean? That's what this is for you, especially when you're motivated. And see, you have corporations and companies that they love to see you motivated. It's like, we gonna get her or him. We're going to get the life force and get that boost. But just always remember that it's got to, you have to be within balance. You have to remain in that lane. And sometimes we will get a little stressed or a little tired. That's to be expected in this system. But just like they say, pay yourself first. You got to take care of yourself first. Because you know what? Unfortunately, we all will transition, right? But say when we do, And say if we were working on one of these plantations, they're going to replace you so quick. So what you do, you keep everything unique for what you do. Be known and have those talents and abilities. For most people out here, you'll never be appreciated as a wage slave or someone salary or paid per job. They have a need, they want it. And I hate to break it down in these terms, but it's almost like a trick, a John, whatever you use to describe that man who's out there looking for a prostitute. He wants that feeling satisfied so bad. And he's picked that one, and you agree. I'm not calling anybody here a whore, right? But I'm bringing that up to say that after that John or that trick got what he wanted, do you think he gives a damn about you? We have to keep reminding ourselves that behind the Colgate smiles that they give us. Okay, recognizing the signs of overextending oneself is crucial to avoiding the pitfalls of hustle culture. Here are 15 red flags that indicate you may be falling victim to the relentless pursuit of the American dream. Man, it's scary, the American dream. When I hear the word that now that I know what it's really, I mean, I've known it for a long time. It was always walking around pissed. And folks knew I knew the deal in the different jobs that I had. Number one, chronic fatigue and lack of energy. Chronic fatigue, not just fatigue. Well, I can go home and get a little good night's sleep or just a weekend and I come back strong. Chronic fatigue, that's when you scrape it. The bottom of the barrel ain't nothing wrong. It's chronic. That's all it is. Even when you drive a car and you're burning fumes to move a little bit, the fumes run out. But chronic fatigue is chronic. Now we're biting down into poor health and hopefully not illness. Number two, frequent illnesses or a weakened immune system. Well, I mean, yeah, when you have the chronic fatigue and your immune system is weak and you start to get ill a lot, it may not be because you're ill. It may be because there's things in the atmosphere coming to attack you and you're fighting these things off. First of all, what I've learned personally is that we're always fighting something off. We're always fighting off negative thoughts that come from other places, or somebody may plant a thought in your mind, right? So that's part of the illness thing, right? See, even when you're worn down, yeah, your immune system can be weak. But when negative thoughts are in your head from other people that strategically place it in you, in your mind, you can still get physically sick. But many people don't think about that. Spiritual attacks can also make you physically sick. You know, going down a list strategically of the things that most people say and accept, but you got to look at everything that happens to you and with you on those other two levels, not just the physical, but okay, spiritual and mental. Because in the original Alkebulan African way of healing, don't know the exact country and the exact practice, but overall, this is what I've been told from people over here in West Africa, that they don't take healing or an ailment as just something physical. There's a mental aspect and there's a spiritual aspect. But in Western medicine, it's just the physical. Even, I'll go as far to say, when you seem to be for a time accident prone. You ever go through a day like that? The other day, I was straight doofy all day. Forgetting stuff in the oven, falling asleep with stuff in the oven, nothing burned, but I caught myself. Leaving windows open, mosquitoes coming in, just got over malaria. What is wrong with me? Walking down the steps and tripping. And these ain't no wooden steps over here. This is solid concrete. Thank God I held on. So me, when I seem to be accident prone, and I'm not accident prone, that means that something else needs attention too. The example I always like to use, and I'm not on screen right now to show you with my hands, but imagine now you have a roof in a house that you're on that top floor where the roof is right over you. It's sealed off and everything. And now if you stand 2 feet from a particular wall, you feel a drop hitting your head and it's raining outside. So that's 2 feet away from the wall. So most of us think that that leak is located 2 feet from the edge of the wall above you on the roof. No, it's not always that way. It might be 10 feet from the edge of that wall on the roof and is trickling down below the roof and above the ceiling and revealing itself 2 feet away. Why am I saying that? Well, when you have an ailment, whether it's mental, physical, spiritual, or a combination or any of those combinations, there may be an unknown element to it that you're not focusing on. When you're healing or when you feel ill, look at those other aspects. It may not be where you're just overworking. It could be where it could be a spiritual attack. It could be where mentally you need rest. See, when you're in perfect balance, and we're really never in perfect balance, but it's just like when you drive in a vehicle that has really great shocks and springs and suspension. You can have a cup of coffee in that encasement, that little console between you and the person next to you. You're in the passenger seat and you're driving and you're going over a bumpy road or a cobblestone road. And you may see the vibration in the coffee, but it's not spilling out because the suspension keeps everything level and smooth. So there's a mental, physical, and emotional, right? Suspension we need to keep tightened up because whether we know it or not, there are things coming at us at all times. I didn't put the short up. It's on TikTok, but I put one up. I think I did 5 or 6 of them today. I love doing those little short things. You know, it's like a small little trash bin by the office desk. You're not putting 5 people's worth of trash in it. It's just a little napkin that you threw. You wiped your nose with it. You blew your nose in it, or the napkin that came with your lunch. And at the end of the day, you dump it, right? So that's what the shorts do for me. Plus, those are like flyers for the channel. Like, oh, I like that guy. Let me check out the rest of what he's doing. It's pretty much working out. I kind of like that. But that suspension keeps you balanced, but you have to understand on all fronts, when you feel to yourself, you say, wow, I feel really good right now. I feel really, really good right now. And you go down the checklist. I slept real good. I ate real good. I had a wonderful weekend. I rested. I took time in the garden, or whatever it is the equivalent is of the garden. It might be getting up funky on Sunday morning and not washing the whole day because you ain't sweat the night before. You know what I mean? You're not telling anybody. Nothing stinking. You didn't sweat. Too much information. I do that every now and then. And I'm a clean freak too, right? But that's the thing. Realize that you are very attractive to the chaos in the universe around you when you are in great balance. I won't say perfect balance, because there's always something like the tripod, the 3 legs, right? So it's more than the 3 legs of mental, spiritual, and physical, because you have mental, spiritual, you have mental, physical, you have spiritual, physical, spiritual, mental, physical, spiritual, physical, mental. You know what I mean? And all 3 legs. So it's a blending. We can say the color red, blue, orange, yellow, but on the color wheel, it's a blending where you gradually move from one color to the next. That's why they have the codes for the color, the HTML codes. My HTML yellow is FFF00. Anytime you see on my banner, it's FFF00. Anytime you see red on my banner, it's FF0000. Try it out if you don't believe me. I know my codes. And I use black and I use white. And sometimes I randomly use other things, but those I use so frequent. I know myself. And you got to know yourself. You got to know yourself at the core when you're being attacked, especially by the culture, corporate culture. It could be the entertainment world. It could be any type of culture that's trying to convince you that you'll get higher if you do a little more. Well, what are you seeing on it? A little more overtime and the temptation to buy something more, and we do it to ourselves. No one right now can live below their means as much as I am right now. Purposely. I went out today to refill my water jugs, drinking water until I get my well and everything done here at the house. And hopefully that's going to be next month. Right? I said, when I go down there, I'm not spending on anything. Came back and I didn't. And I felt so proud of myself. So we have to bite down and learn how to say no to the temptation, because these jobs will always use you. They always will. I see some fat comments up here. Hold on a second. Wise man, welcome, wise man. Willie Rivers. Oh, God, I'm missing so many people. I'm sitting here running my mouth, going off on tangents. Oh, wise man, I had to finally pull back, pushing 80 hours a week. Ooh, I've done that. Except when I was in the jail working. I worked in prison and jail, two different things, two different states. But they did allow you, this is one thing that allowed me to pull out of hours. They did allow me to, legally, you had to have so many bodies, meaning so many corrections officers on a particular post at all times. Some posts required 3 officers for special management. That's the area I worked in with the real threats. But I used to always talk so much and bedazzle them with words. And, man, I like you, man. You know what I mean? Nobody took a swing at me. But because of that, you would have posts like visitation. But if there's no visitation, like all week in that certain time that you're working, visitation overnight, legally had to have a body on that post. So if I was worn out, like, hey, Scurv, you want to do visitation tomorrow night? I said, sure. You know what that meant? I can sleep. There's no inmates. I'm locked in a room or an area, but there's no inmates, nobody, and the supervisors know. They come in, they knock on the door. Hey, what are you dreaming about now? And they sign the books. That's what they don't tell you all the time, right? So I was able to pull more hours than that sometimes, add up 16, let's on Monday, 16, 8 on Wednesday, 16 on Friday, 16 on Saturday, 16 on Sunday. I'm not trying to play, can you top this? I'm just saying that you probably would have a job you're on, you weren't able to sleep. So if we had strategic posts, we're like, man, that's a sweet thing. I would go in there and draw sometime, whatever. But nonetheless, mentally waking up in the jail in the middle of the night is no good. Gifty Sine. And then we have sayings in the culture like, got to get my hustle on, or keep that hustle. We made that word sexy, but it's nothing sexy about hustling. Exactly. So we have to go at the root of these things, and we accept it sometimes. And it's admirable to certain people. Man, you getting your grind on, man. I know that paycheck gonna look good. But nobody says, man, you getting your grind on. I bet you your blood pressure's gonna be high and your sugar's gonna be off. You know what I mean? Man, you getting that hustle on. Oh, woman, I bet you're gonna look like a raccoon next week with them big black bags under your eyes. See? That's what it is. And Tracy J says, wise, never allow a job to do that to you, right? Tracy J says, the new working class will be from 22 years to 70. Many people will have to work until they reach 70 due to high inflation and low wages. Oh, like they say it? Hell no. Let me take another sip. I'm going to be drinking a lot. My throat is not ready. I'm thinking about another song by Rolls Royce that most people don't know. It's named Water. That was on the back one of the little 45 RPMs. I was always famous for loving those songs in the back. Wise Man says, at Tracy J, 16 hours back-to-back days, former CEO from... Okay, so you know Wise Man. Did it for a year, then quit. Put it in God's hands, and then the heavens answered. Wise Man, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. You always come through, and I'm going to always come through. Occasionally, I'll schedule a show, and sometimes I have to switch it off because, I'm doing a lot of things out here, but this is what I love. This is what I live. And I love the fact that everybody else is here. You understand? It makes my day. I can look at it different. Well, I'm free. I'm out of the system, whatever. Also, I'm up in the mountains. It's beautiful. At nighttime, all you hear is animals. So for me to sit here and have my family here to talk to, this is like a prison visit. No knock on Mrs. Scurv. I'm just saying we're cool, but the other energies that are near and dear to me, right? So, okay, let me see here. Imagine graduating from college knowing that you may have to work for almost 50 years. Oh God, to maintain a basic lifestyle to never get ahead. Eesh. Eesh. Sweetberry 32, welcome on in. I don't know if I'm slipping. I think I acknowledged you already, right? Riri says, peace, Tracy. My tablet's screen is so sensitive, I had to switch to my phone. Good to see you here. Wow. Yeah. NFN Shaka, welcome on in. Blessed to have retired at 48 years old. Exactly. Wise man and the blessed man. Like I was saying, my friend who I worked with in corrections he was there many years before me. Actually, when I went in for the tour of the jail, the very first thing, like 2/3 of the people after having the tour, at the end of it, it's like, it's okay. If you want to leave and never come back, you know what I mean? You can still reapply, but right now, don't waste our time. 2/3 of them got up. Most of them big, strong guys, brothers. A lot of the smaller, petite women, they stayed. It was amazing. Well, anyway, I won't call his name, but we had a lot of good times together. We hung out together. Yeah, I got to say, oh man, this guy's crazy, right? In a good way. And when I first met him, he had a home not too far from where I had my apartment in this subdivision. And then he had some marital issues and divorced and bought a home way on the east side. Then he had purchased another home close to where Mrs. Scurv and I were living in Pine Hills. And it was a nice part of Pine Hills because people say, Pine Hill, oh my God. There are pockets of Pine Hills that are pristine. Anyway, when did this happen? This happened before I even came to Ghana for the first time. And he passed away. I was a year older than him. But and again, we're talking real here. And I'm not putting his business out because I'm not mentioning his name. He drank a lot. He drank a whole lot. He was basically, and I'm not put down, but we have to talk about the life lessons. He was basically an alcoholic and he worked. He was such a veteran on the job time-wise, and the supervisors, he was there longer than most of them or went to the academy with them. They knew that he was coming to work with a hangover because he worked from the early shift, 6:30 in the morning. And he was not staggering, but he was definitely intoxicated. And I believe it came onto the job that way, but nobody bothered him because he was in a post where not too many people went through that area. He dealt with the psych inmates, and he had a way with them. He knew how to handle them. He knew how to uncrazy them. He was good at what he did. And I heard in retirement he did so much overtime for over those 20 or 25 years. No, it had to be about 25 years. He was getting $102,000 a year in retirement. And probably lived 3 years after retirement. And the wear down on his body and pushing himself like that. But he had the biggest heart. Him and his other buddy, the biggest heart. And he had his flaws, but he was definitely someone who would rise to the occasion when he saw anyone else truly in need, not even just money, right? But he was like a guardian angel to so many people. And I personally saw him do things for people when he overheard some type of situation. So, I'm not just going to say, oh, this guy worked and worked and worked. He was not selfish, but he had his issues. But he was very much caring. And if he asked you, are you all right? No, man, no, I don't want to hear that, man. Are you all right? Are you all right? Let me tell you. When I first moved down, and I'm gonna go down with those red flags. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna toil in it tonight. When I first moved down, there was a good buddy of mine that I knew many years working out with him in the gym. He was a mechanic, damn good mechanic. And when I left, we didn't fall out of contact. He was right there. But sometimes you live near somebody and there's like 2-3 months where you're in your zone and you don't, so I moved down. I was getting ready to get into corrections, got into corrections after working other jobs down in Orlando. And what would happen there? Okay, he was supposed to sell me this car on a handshake. And I was going to make payments to him until everything was paid up. I made about 5 or 6 payments to him. And I think it was 6 payments, $600 each. 6 times 5 is $3,000. I wasn't even asking him on trust. Man, just give me the car. You know me. I said, no, you hold on to it until. After we got about $3,000, I didn't hear from him again. And I was stuck. Thanks to Creator, I moved, I can't say around the corner from the jail. It was a long walk. It was a straight street going up and down. And that was Rio Grande Drive. Rio Grande, right? And that was like, from where I was on Texas, it might have been like a 2-mile walk. And then the walk next to I-4, all the way down to the jail, shoot, that's another 2 miles or even more. Man, I gave him my money. I don't even have a car. Well, my buddy, I almost called his name, he lived near where I lived, and he would see me sometimes walking. He's like, man, you in uniform. This is the hood, because that's where I first moved. I didn't know it. It was so beautiful in the daytime, but it was the hood. 1 block over on Nashville in Texas. Anybody hearing this? Maybe they changed it. The next street was Orange Blossom Trail. Transvestite prostitutes and crack dealers, y'all. Gunshots all the time. And I'm sitting here wearing a uniform for corrections, saying to myself, well, I got to do this. And my buddy, he said, listen, me and, I won't call it his other buddy's name, who I know very well. He said, man, we both have this pickup truck, man. And we're going to get it to you so you don't have to be out here walking. I said, let me know the price, man. He looked at me and said, man, and he cussed me out. But it was a loving cuss out. He said, man, we're going to make sure it's tuned up. We're going to make sure everything's right. And it wasn't old or anything like that. This was 2001. And it was a 1992 Toyota. It was a small pickup. Small pickup. I don't think I like those little small pickups too. But they don't have them in America anymore. I'm going to see if I can get one out here. I like them. He gave it to me. Gave it to me. Gave it to me with insurance to turn over into my name, tuned up, full tank of gas, new tires. Who does that? Who does that? But then again, whatever you put out to the universe will come back to you. There are things that I've done that nobody will ever know. Nobody will ever know. And that's the way it has to be. So I said, you know what? He says, man, he said, you know, I'm not a religious man. I do believe in God. He says, I love women, I love to drink, but I love God also, and I'm going to do his work. You're a good man. Man, I couldn't do enough for them. Anything I could do for those guys. Trying to even find sly ways to get money in their pocket. And they're like, you think you slick? You know what I mean? But one thing I would never buy for him is liquor. I wouldn't do that. Loved him too much. When I found out, it was like long after he passed away, I'm like to the guys, why didn't you call me and tell me? You know? Let me go on to the next one before I start crying again. Number 3, neglecting personal relationships and social activities. You know, personal relationships and the human touch. Sometimes we lose contact in this modern matrix of a world, but that's really stripping away the essence of life. The human touch. I'm not talking anything sexual. Yeah, between you and whoever you're with, okay, fine. You know, when you get into that, you have that, you can feel like you need it. I'm talking about the true love between friends, the joy of being around them. And even if you're not around them, of even sharing a phone call, a connection, a joke, you calling up to see how they're doing, they're calling up to see how you're doing. This is something that we need. But we've been fooled running after the American dream, thinking that we don't need anybody. We don't consciously say that. We get seduced into that. Like we get seduced into thinking that we can live over 3 hours of sleep for weeks on end. Killing our reserves. But we have a need for human touch, even if it's not physical touch, and we do need that also. We do need to feel the love from a hug from somebody who truly loves us, not some pervert trying to say he cares for you and he's trying to hug up on your boobies and push up between your legs. We're not saying that stupid foolishness. Spending time looking into one's eyes, sharing a meal with them. You know how important it is to sit down with a loved one and have a meal? That is so intimate. That is so intimate. It is. And I say to people, they say, well, why you say it's so intimate? I said, anything dealing with the digestive system is intimate. I said, you think it's not intimate when you're eating? Well, when it comes out, do it in front of everybody. I ain't gonna do that, man. I want them to see me. You understand? It is also intimate in a different way. And we need that. I'm missing all these good comments. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm coming. Get you right out the gutter. This is so sad, Lance, because I know these people that work with me and my so-called friends don't give a damn about me or the things I do. But you know what, though? That's a liberating realization. Liberating meaning that it's not a good thing to think that somebody doesn't give a damn about you, but it makes you adjust your expectations. And it makes it where the grass gets cut so low, you see the snakes for who they are. If you have one or two or just one, that's all you need to make your life magic. If you have 3 or 4, fine. Sometimes we have big families and the families are the ones who are the snakes. What about a disappointment like that? And sometimes they come out of nowhere with all the love in their heart because they've observed you and see who you are. So many of us don't see each other for who we are, only what we can get from them. You see? And that's not a good thing at all. But to realize that, you'll be more selective. You won't take their false words as meaning anything to be disappointed. And when you have the real people in your life, even sometimes when you don't have it at the time, when you get it, you'll really appreciate it. You see what I mean? So that's the way that is. Riri says, Reese, keep your head up, fam. It's disheartening. I feel your pain. Many of my so-called friends are the same way. They give no fucks. Excuse my language. But we have to say it that way. We have to say it that way. That's the mildest part. I'd rather hear a word like that than feel how these people make you feel when you realize they're zombified, they're cut off. It's like a facade. I can't really vibrate with anyone if it's not real at this point. It's got to be real. It's got to be real. Number 4, inability to disconnect from work, even during personal time. Well, me doing stuff online is not work. It's a hobby that I love to do. But back in the past, I used to find myself every moment just and to just back away. Like after the show is over, I may make a phone call or two or a couple texts or whatever. But I'm going to go in that back balcony. I'll open the door real quick and close it real quick. We don't want any bats coming in here. I'm going to stand out in the balcony and look over the mountain. Of course, I'm going to slather myself in mosquito repellent. I have a really healthy kind over here. It's very healthy. It's not chemicalized, you know? And I'm just going to sit there and be still and just feel, even though I say time is an artificial construct, just being, the stillness of being, to detach from this perceived roller coaster ride that we have to keep up with. Because there is no time on the next level, from what I've heard people's interpretations tell me, and I can understand that concept or reality, right? It's not about time in that on that plane. So I escape this plane and the demands of the clock by forgetting about all time. I may take a walk and not have a set time to come back. I might sit in a restaurant. And if I find out the closing is 10 p.m. and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I might read a book and stay there. Not that long. I used to do it at the sushi restaurant. Big shout out to Kanoko on 72nd Street between Columbus Avenue and Broadway. 72nd Street on the north side. the best sushi restaurant in the world, and it closed down many, many years ago. And those of us who kept in contact, we had sushi buddies that the food was so good, we switched numbers. Hey, you coming down here? We'd have conversations across from different tables. They had a, the name of it was Kinoko, Kinoko. But there, you were guaranteed the human touch. Even the waiter, an old Japanese man who I know he can kick anybody's behind, any heavyweight, as skinny as he was. The man was fit. I saw him standing next to a counter, and another waitress or cashier, she knocked over a cup of coffee. He saw it beginning. I caught this in the mirror. I'm watching him in the mirror. He saw the cup falling in the mirror, turned around, caught it with his foot, pulled it back, knocked it back up, and caught it in his hand. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not fighting this guy. But the human touch in that restaurant was just, I should make a group or some kind of online entity for those who used to go there. When you went there, it was almost like the show there. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. I used to turn it around to something lewd. But anyway, you get the picture. Increased reliance on caffeine and other stimulants to stay awake. Now, that's bad. That means your body's not working right. And really and truly, you're banging your nervous system with this caffeine, and it's addictive. And then you put the sugar in there. Whoa! You got all kind of things going on, but this is accepted in the corporate culture. Not just corporate culture. You can own a lumber yard, and a couple of people there, man, they're going to get a coffee first. And on working hours, see, this is the weird thing I never understood, right? In the corporate culture, or people I've known that have owned lumber yards, right? If you come in 10 minutes late, oh God, that's a sin. But if you come in on time and sit down for 15 minutes drinking coffee, it's okay. Because that's so accepted, like I got to grab a coffee. That's like going to the restroom. You complain if an employee is going to the restroom, but the coffee break was sacred. It's almost like let's all bang our nervous systems together. It's okay if you do that. That's not good if you rely on this stuff. The only time I drank coffee really was because I like the way it tastes. It's only because I made it sweet and put some kind of creamer in it years ago. I said, man, whoa. Mouth this whole time and nobody heard me? Wait a second. How long did that go on? I see mute on the screen. I'm like, wait a second. How long was I muted? This thing automatically just boop, mutes you. Let me see something. Let me know. Was it 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever? I don't, I wasn't even recording this whole thing. So just in case this pops off, well, this will stay on until I come back on. I hate that. It's a conspiracy. Let's just move on. Which point did you hear last? And let me read this comment in the meantime. Mosquito chewed me up last week and I got lumps and itching where there was no bite. Those damn GMO mosquitoes, they have the nerve to release. Ain't no joke. For real, they're like super mosquitoes. They have a mind of their own. I had a mosquito fly over me and I had the lights in the room on. And I'm looking at it like, go ahead and land on my leg. I'm just looking at it. And it hovered 3 inches of my leg and just flew away like, I'm gonna get your ass later when you're sleeping. I slathered myself in mosquito repellent, wore long sleeve, light shirt, kind of cotton light shirt, long, track sweatpants, socks, and I still got under the covers. You know what happened? He bit me all up in my ear, got me anyway. So that's what it was. But yeah, I hope I wasn't knocked off too long. I can't believe that. Anyway, I got to keep looking back at the chat room too. All right, let me get to the next one. Difficulty sleeping or insomnia due to work-related thoughts. Imagine that. I've always said that too. You could be at work and you're like, oh God, I can't wait to get home. I can't wait to get home. Oh, I'm so tired of this job. I'm so tired of these people. Oh, I've been running to the bathroom. My stomach don't feel right. Oh, it's that time of the month, which I don't know about. I'm just saying, ladies. And you get home and guess what? You're thinking about work. Oh, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. I wish I didn't have to go to work. Now you're not enjoying home. That's how this system will have you. You'll never be where you're supposed to be at that moment. You're never in the present. And that's not good. Let me see what Gifty says. I stepped away to go to the kitchen, so I don't know how long you were off. Yeah. Well, tell me this. How long did you step away to go to the kitchen? It couldn't be any worse than that. But anyway, we'll find out. Doesn't matter. Nobody really left, right? Yeah, but we're off-centered. If your tires are wobbling, they need to be aligned. We're not really aligned. We're somewhere else. We're not always where we're supposed to be. If you're at work 100% of the time, you're mentally, I'm at work now, let me focus on work. When I'm done, I'm done. I'm not thinking about home. Nice thought, but it's there waiting for me. You get home, you tune it out. Don't even answer the phone on your day off. They're going, oh, you want to come in? Then you feel indebted to coming in. No? And they sweet talk you. Don't even answer the phone. Don't even answer the phone. I would tell them, listen, I was at the beach. I was kicked back and I was enjoying myself. You called me? Oh, that's my technology-free day. I'm not required by this job to be by the phone all the time. And sometimes when they know that you're really willing to work hard and put in the work and, be for the company, be for the gang, they're going to use you. They're going to suck the life force out of you. And the only thing you'll have is a little bit more money on the check. But nothing else. No real appreciation. And you shouldn't be going to a job for that anyway in pursuit of the American dream. They're selling you on that. Big time. Number 8, irritability and mood swings caused by work pressure. Again, sometimes when you look at the job like they're your friends and they're your family, that's going to happen. Because work pressure happens and somebody has a bad mood and you get hurt. They're just as replaceable as you are. So why are you all getting caught up unless a budding relationship or budding friendship happens where you shouldn't be looking for that at the workplace? We're humans, it happens. I mean, yeah, people creep with each other. Every job that I've worked on, every single job that I worked on, somebody was creeping. And I was a very active young man at times and might have been me a time or two. But when it's a work thing and you go beyond, you get to be friends with people. But if you're going to deal with somebody, let it be when they're not working anymore or you're not working anymore. Because that makes work turn into something else. You a guy and you have a girlfriend there, nobody knows it, but this other guy who works with you, he's hanging around her work area, then he comes back and tells you, damn man, someone's got a nice backside. I think I can hit that. Oh, with me, it was never like, because I was never possessive like that. You know what I mean? But I can see why, because I've had friends that get caught up in that whole thing. In pursuit of the American dream, there's so many things to knock you off on these jobs that we worship, these jobs that we submit to, these jobs that we think is the answer to everything. And we dive in wholeheartedly, and we dive in right to death. And I hope not, but little deaths along the way that can add up to the big one. Number 9, a sense of emptiness or lack of fulfillment despite professional achievements, because the job and professional achievements are not going to give you the full happiness. Remember, our relationships, our connectedness, our knowledge of a creator, and our relationship with the laws of the universe that the creator has put forth, bigger than a job, bigger than a girlfriend or boyfriend. I was going to say husband or wife, only if it's not working out right and they're messing around on you or something like that. But bigger than the man-made institutions, bigger than that. We should not get caught up in that where we expected so much. Again, expectations will get you in trouble. You see what I mean? It will get you in trouble. Tracy J says, America is too much of a capitalistic country to give 8 weeks vacation and more holidays off. Exactly. Gifty says, what's interesting is that Europe gets like 6 to 8 weeks off a year automatically. They must have a super dose of racism over there, and they still rioted. And they work 8 hours, no overtime. Wow. Yeah, ain't that something? Wow. Just never let a company make you a salaried employee. You'll do double work with no increase in pay. I observed that when I worked at Home Depot with the assistant managers that got to be salaried. The department heads was still hourly. And they were so glad when they got promoted to be an assistant manager, and had a salary that added up to a lot more than what they were making. But guess what? They had to be the ones there all night sometime, and they worked in the day because a regional manager was going to come and walk the store, and everything had to be in place. And all the employees were given overtime to make sure every single tile was in place, everything was where they should be. And you know what? That regional manager would just walk through, and that was it. It was over in 10 minutes. And they were stressing over that. It was crazy. And whenever they kept me long, we're in the aisles, there are no customers, and we're there at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I got mad. I'm like, wait a second, I got to get home because I have to come back tomorrow. And they're salaried. They have to stay. I'd start talking like Farrakhan in the middle of the aisle. I didn't care. They thought I was crazy. Oh, but America, I warn you for your wicked deeds. They got tired of hearing that. Oh, Lance, you can go home now. I swear I did it. I'm going to have some bit when I reconnect with them, because I'm looking furiously for some of the coworkers that I know that are still alive. They'll get on here and tell you. Even some of them, they were like calling me Farrakhan, but like one guy got in trouble because they called me Farrakhan over the intercom. Minister Farrakhan, can you meet me over in aisle 1, Minister Farrakhan? And I went over there, and I didn't get in trouble. They said it in Home Depot on Rockaway Boulevard. Wow, I saw that one already. Let me see. Yes. Okay. You know what, Gifty? When I looked at your comment, it said it's so sad. To me, I blurred my eyes a little bit. I thought it said it's a sad STD. I'm like, wait a second, did I say something wrong? I'm on the right topic. Number 10, a disregard for hobbies or interests outside of work. Yes, that means your life force is down, because there's got to be other things that you do. Even if the other things that you do are granted that it may be something that is not related to work, but complements your work. You see what I mean? There's nothing wrong with, let's say, for example, you're a professional artist and you work for a company and you have to produce whatever, and you go to an art show because you like art. Doesn't mean don't do anything art related. Play golf. What if you don't like golf? But have something that you're enthusiastic about that takes away your focus on the job, the people, the accomplishments or lack of accomplishments or the disappointments. You got to have something. Even more so than just, I went to the beach, which is beautiful. You need to put your feet in water. Be near water is very healing, or going in nature, but have something that you do. You know, I'm so diverse. I'm thinking of making my own greeting card line with simple sketches and little sayings in them. That's something that I always wanted to do, but there's so much that I want to do, including the book, several books. I will promise finally, when the house is completely done, I'm going to allot time for all of these things. You see what I mean? Like, what brings you joy? On my 62nd birthday, God willing, if he allows me that much time, I'm going to take my one-wheel bike, my unicycle, and bring it down to the busiest part of Accra and ride it. Am I an attention whore? No, I'm celebrating my life. I know it's going to go viral because everybody's going to whip their phone out and put it all over TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. That's just something I want to do. I'm going to let everybody know I'm 62. I don't want to push that too much because I got to get there first, right? But, you know, celebrating life. Not like other people I know, they say, oh, you're getting old now. No, I'm getting better. I'm not lying to myself. I'm not physically what I was at 19 years old in that picture. I'm not far from it when I start training, but it's the overall experience of life. And your life should be lived in a certain way where you don't begin to yourself boxed in because the American dream. You should feel expanded. It should never be about materialistic things anyway, because we find out that we work so hard to get trapped in debt, trapped in house, trapped in the latest vehicle, trapped behind the white picket fence. And all of the relationships that we did not allow to flourish, you can't go back and find them, but you have things and you find yourself extremely lonely and in need of the human touch. Does it all matter? If we have the luxury of what they would call a deathbed, and your family is around you, or the ones that love you, whether they're DNA sharers or not, it could be 2 people, it could be 10 people. The people who come there to hold your hand when they know you're going to take your last breath, they're not saying, back in 1957, I'm telling you, you had the best rims on that car. They're going to forget about the cars you had. Now, if you still have it, they might be waiting for you to take that last breath to go on and try to get it. That's how people can be. But it's about the memories shared, the connections shared, the old jokes that you share. The beautiful part of life. Not to say that you can't want to drive a nice vehicle or live in a nice place. Yes, but don't make it your God to the point where you stress yourself and those things become huge debts to you, that you're killing yourself just to keep in that. Rather live in one room, a studio. And I have with me, I'm not caught up in the look or this is what I have right now, whatever. No, I'm living very basic right now. And after this place is fixed up nicely, whatever, it's because we took the time to embellish it. I didn't put a mortgage. You don't have mortgages really anyway. You build with what you got. And I'm free that way. And that's what I wanted. The pressure is off me that way. There's still pressures on me, of course. You'll always feel a little something when you're in close proximity to the system, but you don't want the matrix all up in your backside. Well, you're like a puppet, like Lester the Puppet when they had the black man and the black puppet, right back from the 70s, early 80s. And his hand was all up in his head, moving the mouth, and he's a ventriloquist. Well, we don't even really control our lives because the company is the hand that controls us, tells us when to be there, tell us when we didn't complete something. We have a special meeting and you got to be there or whatever. Then you have your review and they raise the hoops higher that you have to jump higher the next time if you want to get a raise. And you don't even see your family. When you're home with your family, if your living conditions are like that, you're not even feeling them. Honey, what's wrong? You're just laying there. Oh, I got pissed off. And you bring in your work home like that. I can see if it's some unique industry that you're doing and you boom, and there's no one set place where you have to, I got to be at the office type thing. I understand that. And there's some of us who are equipped with a higher capacity to produce. And we don't want to go at a slower rate because somebody else can't handle it. I love to push, but I don't want to do it under pressure. All the years I've done what I've done, and just let's talk about the YouTube stuff, and poof, one day all your videos are gone. Did I cry? I immediately started a new channel, and I'm keeping to do what I got to do, and I can still salvage most of the content from different platforms. They really ain't gonna get me this time because this is all over the place. Even on my website, it's not a YouTube embed. The older stuff, yeah, but not the new stuff. So you ain't gonna get me that way. You learn, you pick up, and you move on. Number 11, neglecting physical health, proper nutrition. Yeah, we can get in the zone and not realize we're sitting down so much. I have a table. What was the name of it? What is the name of it? It's it starts with an A. Oh, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name, but it's downstairs. And it's a table that it raises up. You push a button, it rises up. So you can stand up while you work. Your computer and everything can stay on the same positioning. You don't have to move anything as long as you have enough wire that when it rises up, you don't like pull the computer down because the wire was short. But it makes a big difference. It goes so high that I stand up all the way and it goes and touches my chin. I feel like a kid, little 6-year-old at the candy store paying the man behind the counter for candy. But I don't have to put it up that high. But I stand up, then when I sit down when I want, I can get more out of myself that way. You see what I mean? Because sitting is the worst thing that we can do. And I do a lot of sitting, but I also do a lot of walking. And although I may not be a competing bodybuilder anymore, I never let my health go too far. Meaning that if I indulge in something, some type of culinary delight, it's not like, well, for the next 2 months, I'm going to eat this every day. No. Because things are sweeter when you back away from it. If I gave you chocolate cake every day, you like chocolate cake. After 2 days, if I made you eat chocolate cake for morning, noon, and night, breakfast, dinner, and supper, I'm sick of this thing. But you said you loved it so much. You said, boy, if I could eat this every day for a month, I would. That's your emotions talking. I'm going to go to the job and work all these hours, and I'm going to buy my house in the shortest period of time. I don't want the interest rate that the other people have. I don't want the mortgage length, 30 years. No, I want a 15-year mortgage, damn it. Well, if your salary or your money can handle it, fine. But don't pressure yourself. Of course, you knock off more principal faster than a 30-year mortgage. But what about the state of your health, your life, your relationships? You have to allot time for those things. Like you're gonna look like that lady who's on the banner. Some people are gonna say, "Why you put that white lady?" Because they feeling it too, and they're the ones who jumping out of windows even faster because they were believing in it, feeling superior to you. And I know so many people like that who walking around chest pumped up. I'm Caucasian, I'm corporate, I'm suburban, and they stressed out. All kind of drugs in their desk, all kind of crazy stuff they're doing with their personal life because they don't have that fulfillment. Crazy. And some of us are nuts too, following behind them in the imbalanced ways of living and giving up our traditional practices, even if we don't have a connection directly to Africa because we were born and raised in the United States. Yes, it's in our DNA, but if we don't have that direct connection, we have our cookouts, our barbecues, our unannounced meetings at this house or that house. You going over Shirley's house or that? I'm coming too. Can I bring Brandy? Yeah, bring her. Over, so you got a party. You go home and you feel good. She crazy. She been like that for years. Them good connections. Organic. Even the ability that we have in our pursuit of the American dream, if you think that's what it is, and we find ourselves broke. And you're sitting there, man, I wish we can go to the restaurant. Well, you got that big bag of rice, man. You know, I went fishing yesterday. I can bring the fish. You cook up that rice because you and your wife cook up the rice good, and I can bring the vegetables. I got a bunch of potatoes, man. If I don't eat the potatoes, they gonna grow out. And you bring your food together, and even though you're broke until the next paycheck, you feel good because you're fellowshipping, and you have the most delicious meal. Those meals are the most delicious meals. When you're all, I'm not saying be broke to have a delicious meal. Delicious meals are good, but find out that it's not just a meal. Like I said earlier, when you sit down with loved ones, and sometimes being broke will force you to see the beauty of each other and to vibrate. And not only were you fed on a caloric level, on a nutritional, physical level, you are fed in your soul. And now you have enough strength to look forward to that week to say, hey, I might be broke until Friday, but guess what? We're going to make it through. Matter of fact, let me get 2 of them plates to bring home. Monday and Tuesday. From Wednesday on, we got to hustle it now. You know what I mean? So that's what it is, you know? Missing important family milestones and events. Look, I just talked about that, basically. But if you do that, yeah, we're not going to always, if you're in California and you have family in New York, you're not going to make everything. Granted, but over a year, let it be, even if you get once a year, because years fly by so fast when you get to a certain age and you have things on your mind and you have to make it where it's about right now. Sometimes lack of funds for the time when you have funds to take care of your bills, but I can't spare that right now. We understand that. But it's no more, and of course we have futures, right? I'm not saying we don't, but we got to stop putting stuff off for the future because I'm on that hustle. No. How many people have been on their hustle and find themselves in the casket? And the family's crying and say, I wish I spent more time. So for me, I have an extended family. I have many families. Some of them are rotten, but I still love them. I have my family here. You know, I have my children. And so I'm a giving person. So for me, give my energy, make you laugh, make you think, whatever. There's no difference. You could be in my living room and everybody's sitting around. We're just talking, right? You all are typing, but I can see what you're writing and we're communicating. And everybody finds their own level. One person might sit on the arm of the couch. One person might lay back and hog up a couple seats on the couch. Somebody grabs a pillow and goes down on the floor where the carpet is. You find your own level and we enjoy each other's company. And this is a electronic, technological way of doing so because we all still need the human touch. Number 13, constantly checking work emails or messages during off hours. Yeah. Even if you're not working, look, I haven't worked in a while in a formal job, but I like to check things. Sometimes when the call of nature, you know, and I wake up, I'm like, let me check this. Let me check that. You know, let me get a sip of water, y'all. Give me 10 seconds. I don't know what's up with my body. I'm just loving that lemon water. I'm going to keep it going like that too. But your mind is not home. You need to rest. When you're resting, rest. Tonight, I am going to have the sleep of all sleeps. I look forward to sleep now, more so than when I was in the Matrix. Sleep to me is a big party. And I dream more vivid now than I ever have before. And the atmosphere and vibration of nature around me only enhances that. I haven't had nightmares since I lived in this house. Go figure. I've never had bad feelings or anything. And I'm very sensitive to the spiritual world. When I was in the other apartment, a couple little things that happened. Like, I ain't crazy, but I'm sensitive that way. But here, I feel all right, fulfilled. And when I think about, and I felt the same way when we lived in Orlando, but more so here, because it's detached from all that I know that would stress me. And I never really, I say stress so you understand what I'm saying, but I never really felt like, oh God, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed. I stress. Whatever the source of stress coming at me, I'm gonna stress it right back. So stress, we gonna both, if you make me feel stressed, stress is gonna be stress. Right. I murdered a brick. I'm so bad I made medicine sick. You got to think like that. You know what I mean? Don't pass that off on me. And they do that in the corporate world and all these jobs. Something happens, you get the blame. You see what I mean? And you know that you've been doing your best. 14, feeling guilty for taking time off for relaxing. You can't. The other day, what was it? What day was this? Sunday or Saturday? The day I didn't do a show. I said, okay, I'm going to come back even better. And I made a mistake with the dates, y'all. I said tonight was the return of Neil Frazier, Metamorphosis. It's actually next week. It's this time. Well, not this exact time. If it's 7 for me, it's 3 o'clock on the East Coast. Yeah, so it is next week. So I wasn't trying to pull your leg, but we spoke today through email, and he sent me the information. I looked, I was like, oh no, I thought it was tonight. It's next week. That's okay. I can't wait. He always brings it. Number 15, experiencing burnout or complete mental and physical exhaustion. That's when you're laying in the bed and you can't move. You can't find the drive to even get up. You barely make it out the bed to go to the bathroom doing number 1 or 2. And you sit on the toilet. You barely have enough energy to get up, much less think. Days and weeks can go by, and you can't seem to get yourself together. Wow. That's when many people turn to chemicals and other things, substances or whatever. That I would never like to experience that. That's something I would never want to experience. So right now, you know, my biggest mistake is that I forget the age that I am. I'm not like thinking I'm old. I'm older. And when you have an older vehicle, it takes a little longer to warm the engine up. Things I never thought about. I think about now. You know, I remember when Mrs. Scurv went back to America because her father passed away and they had the funeral, and we decided that I stay. She was always saying, be careful. Be careful walking up down the steps. Be careful. Don't get up on the ladders now by yourself. Like, I'm not a kid. Were you telling me that? I didn't talk to her like that. I was just joking with her. I was like, what are you talking to me like that for? Because there's no one else around. And if something, and we have to be aware of that. Whether there's somebody around or not. I was a tough little cookie when I was older. I'm still a semi-tough older cookie now, but I'm not delusional. I'm caring for myself more, taking a little time more, playing the old man role. I still got a lot of juice in my fruit, but I have nothing left to prove. I haven't had a midlife crisis. I don't know why, but I don't want one. I'm not looking to say, well, please give me one. No, I just never had that. Because I'm living life to the fullest every moment, even when I'm pissed off at something or maybe I'm sick or something. Every day is a wonderment. It's a new chapter. It's a new possibility. That when you go out shopping, when you go out, you might not be looking to meet people. Like, I'm going to meet people today. But you just might meet that one who vibrates with you, whether it's an intimate romantic thing or not, or just a buddy. Oh man, you like to ride bikes too? Really? You, man, come on, what's your number? And then you got to be careful when you let people in your life. But you need that diversity as you go toward this thing called the American dream, which doesn't exist. It's you. It's what's inside of you. They put this thing up, the American dream, and people all over the world want it, and people over here in Ghana the same way. So at some point within the next 2 weeks, I'm going to go down to a nice busy part on the overpass bridge near the Accra Mall, He gets busy. Or maybe I'll go on one of those bus stops around that area, and stop people as they walk by. Would you like to go to America? What do you think America's like? Would you like to live there? Oh man, I guarantee you that 99.99% of those ads, oh my God, America, I love to go to America. I want to go to America. Oh, America's the best. America's heaven. It's better than this place. I've heard Ghanaians say, it's better than this shithole. I'm like, are you crazy? What? You know, perception is everything. And they just don't know. One dude I asked that the other day, and he said, oh, you know what? My friend went there to live. He can't even come back. He's working, and he got this girl pregnant, and he got another girl pregnant. He's paying child support. He did something else, and they took his passport. Something happened. He's stuck and got to work and miserable. Things can happen. You just don't know. Here it is. I want to read this part off. Let me just scroll down here for a second. Yeah, we got some more to go. I'm going to go through these quick, and then we're going to slow down in the next section, right? How big companies seduce you into the trap. Big corporations are experts at convincing individuals that overwork is necessary for success. Here are 10 ways they seduce you into the trap. It's funny. They seduce you. The men go there and see corporate cleavage, and they say, I'm not even talking about a woman. They just say, oh, the money, the cars. Wow. Number one, promotion promises, dangling the carrot of career advancement to justify long hours. Number two, financial incentives, offering bonuses or overtime pay as a reward for sacrificing personal time. Number three, company culture, creating an environment where overwork is celebrated and expected. Number four, fear of job loss, instilling fear that failure to comply with the demands will result in job loss. 5, peer pressure, encouraging competition amongst colleagues to work harder and longer. 6, recognition and awards, offering public recognition for those who go above and beyond. 7, workplace perks, providing on-site amenities, gyms, meals to keep employees at work longer. Number 8, limited vacation time, discouraging the use of vacation days by making employees feel guilty. Number 9, constant connectivity, encouraging the use of smartphones and laptops to stay connected 24/7. Number 10, cult of productivity, promoting the idea that productivity is the ultimate measure of success. Sounds like most jobs I've been on. I don't know about you. Oh, Diane, how are you? Glad you're here. Matthew White. Brother, I didn't see you slip in the door. I didn't see a Diane either come in. Landon Price. Yes, I know you're there, brother. DX. Let me scroll up. I've been running my mouth. Let me see here. Here you go. Tracy J said, some companies here in the States make you sign an agreement not to work for anyone else during your employment with them. They call it a conflict of interest. You got to get your money. I'm not saying get into the hustle culture, but that's wrong. That's like you go to a restaurant that's your favorite. Well, you like the food here, but we're going to have you sign an agreement that you don't go anywhere else to eat except here. Oh, we will not serve you. And kick rocks. These companies don't understand and purposely underpay people, forcing them into second and possibly third jobs. Exactly. If you were getting all you needed at that job, you wouldn't have to get other work and you'd do better. Work and personal life, Gifty Sine says, balance should be like 50-50. Exactly. DX, let me see. Okay. Let me straighten the screen out here. Now let's go on to the next section. Okay, new comments here. Okay, let me see what she said. Tracy J says that Lance, these jobs will throw a pizza party in a minute just to avoid giving you a bonus. For real. Pizza you can already get. And some old nasty pizza. Some pizza you don't even eat. Where'd you get this from? Luigi's Pizza Parlor. You mean the place with the roaches? No, I don't want that. You know what I mean? So cheap, whatever. Cheap soda, cheap pizza making you all messed up, and you can't call in the next day to go to work because you had the nasty pizza, right? Sitting at home at night talking about, okay, breaking free, empowering yourself for a balanced life, escaping the trap of hustle culture and the false promises of the American dream requires a conscious effort to prioritize balance and well-being. Here are 10 ways to empower yourself to live a fulfilling life after I take another sip of this water. Hold tight. Lemon water. I know what's going on with me. I just love it. Number one, set boundaries. Clearly define work hours and stick to them, avoiding work-related tasks during personal time. Okay, it's not work when I was doing YouTube videos and stuff when I first got here, but I would let it drag on. And I would let people convince me, well, go another hour, go another hour, go another hour. Then after that, you're tired. You're going to do another show tonight? I'm going to try to satisfy everybody. I'm tired. I'll do it till late. Then they want to get on the phone and talk for 5 hours. Let's do another one. I'm like, wait a second. You know what I mean? Then you're promoting other people and they're arrogant. They like feeling entitled. They're like, basically, we don't care about you. We're going to do this. When you're kind like that, you're going to burn out. You got to set your boundaries with yourself also. Because as the whole C-19 period showed us, people were working at home. And sometimes they might overdo it because they were home like, I have nothing else to do. You could be at home and burn out. Again, we need a day also where we have a technology-free day. Now, we understand that we have to be in contact in certain industries. But that's far and few between. Number two, prioritize health. Make time for regular exercise, healthy eating, and sufficient sleep. That's your priority. Nobody's going to take care of you like you. When these people that have used you to work so many hours, and not only to give days and weeks and months or years, but decades of your life. And after they burnt you out and wore you down, and you get sick, and like my friend who worked all that overtime, it was making $102,000 or $103,000 in retirement. 3 years of it, and he's gone. I don't care. When I decided to leave America, there were people, I'm not going to say it wasn't the general public because I couldn't broadcast that, but they were like, man, if you work 5 more years, you can put so much more in that little pension check. I'm like, that may be the very 5 years that takes me out of here. Even though driving a bus in a tourist city like Orlando, mixed with multiple hoods, can be very stressful, I never got myself stressed. I learned how to relax. I was zoned out, very much aware, but zoned out in certain parts of myself. And the way I lived before I left the house, like I said, I would sunbathe and be quiet. The house was just a perfect station for recuperation and regeneration. I didn't realize. I knew I was at work now, but I'm just saying this in a certain way. I didn't realize that I was at work until maybe the 8th hour out of 11 hours on my run. I knew I was there, but I didn't feel it. And I don't mean stressful feeling. I'm like, oh, work. I had so much feel good from home that by the time it didn't wear out, it just reduced. Oh man, it's time to go home soon and get more of this. You see what I mean? I didn't let it get to me. I refused that, right? Number 3, pursue passion projects. Engage in hobbies or activities that bring you joy and fulfillment outside of work. And I'm going to tell you, you don't have to answer to nobody about what that may be. Whatever it is that brings you joy. What brings me joy? I like riding my bike. I like riding my unicycle. I like drawing. I like playing my music from back in the day or anytime and getting a visual to guide me in what I'm doing and just whatever time it is. I remember there was a particular hurricane and we anticipated, and this is in Florida, we anticipated that all the power was going to go out. And I had my laptop and we had the light on. I had my light on, like a little lamp right over my piece of paper. I had my laptop on. I was playing some YouTube stuff, music. It was gone. And I was like, okay, I might lose this. And I have to continue another time when the power comes back on. But the power didn't go off. And the winds were blowing, but it wasn't as bad as it made it seem. It was kind of scary at times. But the winds were blowing and I was drawn away. And I said, okay, I'll go to bed when the lights go out. I didn't have to work for the next few days. I think I was off that week, luckily. Well, then you know I didn't get to bed till 9 o'clock in the morning. Daylight came, the power was still on. I'm like, wow, it's morning. I kept on drawing, so Mr. Scurv had to pull me away from it. I just loved doing that. And I would do it even if it wasn't to display it to the world. You know, that's something I love doing. With pen, little pencil, the guide, you make the little, guidelines, and shading with pen, just getting down, playing some old music, dance, disco jazz. Oh, what's the next one? Oh, practice mindfulness. Incorporate mindfulness practices like meditation to reduce stress and stay present. See that? Stay present. Take some time. I'm not saying anyone here doesn't do that, right? But take some time to make sure you're always in the moment. We know we got bills coming. But if you do what you have to do today, it'll take care of it. But too many of us are living in the past, not in a joyous sense where you're reminiscing over somebody who may have transitioned or you're sharing a childhood memory, but living in the past and pissed off at it. I knew a woman who always complained, she felt funny that, she wasn't married or whatever. And to the ladies out here, do not feel funny. It don't mean something wrong with you. There's a lot of jokers out here. And we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about something along those lines tomorrow. It's not going to be lewd. It's going to be adult, but it's going to be right to the point. Stop making this society make you feel less than because other people are married. You may not be married by a certain age. It would be nice. Yes, we understand that. But so many of them that are grinning and bearing that have people, they catching hell. Not all the time, but a lot of times they are, or they compromised. I know this is off topic, but when you're with somebody, it should make you better. Why? Because I'm not feeling this thing when they say two people becoming one. That you both are cheating each other, aren't you? Because if two people that are supposed to be 100% each become one, and now you're only 100%, that means you 50% now. Where'd the other 100% split between the both of you win? Where did it go? You're supposed to be synergistic. You get with the person, you're already 100%. So that means if you break up, you 100%. We say marriage and relationships are compromise to a point, but the compromise is not compromise when there's massive overlap of what you're into, your ideals, your ideology, your morals, your passions, your things. And the more you can overlap, it's not compromise. Compromise when it's something you don't want to be bothered with. I don't like doing that. And you're not going to both of you bend to accommodate each other, then it ain't going to work. But don't make this place make you feel that this is because that's a whole big business, marriage. It's real and it's love, and we understand that. But for the most part, the government don't care. It's the lawyers are paid, the courts are paid. They're getting you into the whole lustful thing, men. Oh man, like I told you years ago when I was bouncing in the club. The club was called Jamaica Me Crazy, but they changed names so many times. Right there on Colonial in John Young Parkway on the northeast corner, set back a little bit. Always shootouts. I ain't going back there no more. Yeah, for real. Around the club, there was always shootouts after everything was over. But I saw a guy in there that I knew was hey, Scurv, man. Well, man, you always doing something, man. I see you online, man, all the time, man. Damn it, don't you sleep? It's like, oh, man, damn, look at that girl over there, man. The one, the white, the old tight white pants and red panties, man. Oh, man, look at her backside. He didn't say backside. He said donkey, ASS. Boy, I'd marry her in a heartbeat. Really? And you'll find yourself in court in 6 months. Because if it's based on that, it ain't going to work out. So social media, movies, and all these things mold our minds to see that love means this and love means that. Love yourself. Stop looking. I'm not saying just to the ladies, I'm talking to the men too. Love yourself. Get into yourself. Sure, it'd be nice to hug up against somebody in the middle of the night, but if it's worth more trouble than what you get as far as that satisfaction, it ain't worth it. You good. Develop yourself. Make yourself better. When that one does come, you're the best version of yourself. Like I said, I knew this woman. She's in her 60s. And all she can do is, oh, well, back in 1979, I was with this man. We was 3 years. He broke up with me. And he ain't no good. And then back in 1986, I got married again. And I didn't know he was married to somebody else. So you ain't going to get nobody now. Who wants to hear that in the present? Oh, wow. She had so many heartbreaks, as many of us do. And that's all she talks about. I can't wait to get with her. She's my type of woman. Same when you flip it from the women to the men, right? Man, that BITCH man ran off with my money and she ran off with my best friend and they went over, they had babies, and when we sold the house, she took the money, blah, 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 blah. Do they want to hear that now? Be in the present. What are your dreams and aspirations for tomorrow and today? And I mean literally tomorrow. Like we're in today, but you must have something planned for tomorrow. Unless you're sick of the bed, relax yourself, sleep, rest, and recuperate. We're not going to have an effective life. It'll always be, and you must make projections. I understand that. And you are going to think of the past. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do a show if I couldn't tell you a story or something I went through that's funny or something. Because God knows I done been through a lot. And I realize that because friends of mine are like, Lance, man, I know I've been through a few things, but your life is always something, not always something bad, but you know, I was blessed to have a lot of experiences and a big mouth ready to talk about them. So I guess I'm kind of built for this, right? Okay, limit materialism. Focus on contentment and gratitude rather than a pursuit of material wealth. Like I said, my signature style is going to be all black with a nice belt and maybe some nice shoes and maybe a little bracelet. I'm not even into the jewelry. I'll be 85 years old, walk around. That man wear the same thing. That's going to be my style. I like black. It's not gloomy, you know? So that takes my mind off of, what am I going to wear today? Now, Mr. Scurv said, I'm tired of seeing you that. You know, you look good in this color. Okay, I'll change up just for you today. But when left alone, this is what I do. It's funny, we have such a yearning to be with other people, meaning in a relationship, and we never have a relationship with ourselves to find out what we like. And then we look for acceptance and trying to fulfill somebody else, and we're not fulfilled. That's the raw deal. And the materialism, we miss out on the beauty of a sunset, a sunrise, going to the beach and feeling the sand between your toes and the wind in your ears and going through your hair. Even me with no hair, the little bit that grows, you know, feeling the wind through my hair. I don't run my fingers through my hair. I run my fingers over my hair that's growing. But anyway, when you can really get into those things that are free, that don't cost you anything, and have an appreciation for it, and feel good for someone else when they accomplish something, then you're free of that feeling that traps you into the corporate world or the work hustle culture. Nah, I'm in the moment. I'm chill. Like I said, right now, so many of my friends are, we've heard the term, oh, so many of my friends are dead or in jail. And I have a lot of successful, close friends. Successful meaning living in balance. They've achieved certain things, but we're the same old buddies. I mean, male friends. I mean, I have female friends growing up too, platonic. I understand that. But the male bonding, like I said, I'm proud to say I have a WhatsApp group room of several of my friends that I grew up with, and more to add. We really, we've known each other. Like I said, my friend Angelo, I talk to him every day. He knows almost everything about me. I know almost everything. There's some stories I can tell you about him that would have you cracking up, but I'd rather bring him on and have him. I'm going to do that. We're going to do a conference line something, and we're going to talk about some things, some wild things, because I tell my stuff. And then when we get together, they tell it too. But I think I've got the biggest mouth because they're going to bring it up. Hey, Lance, you ever tell them about someone? But shh, not that one. I don't mind. But yeah, when you get into that more, you're not caught up into the whole materialistic thing. You'll see friends with nice things and you'll be so happy for them. And they'll see, and look at my friend, the one that passed away in corrections 3 years after retiring. When I first got down there and I got stuck over by my friend who I thought was a friend for the car I paid for. And these guys went and got a pickup truck, insurance on it. I just had to sign into it. New tires, it was a couple years old. Wasn't old. It was like maybe 8 years old, 9 years old. Who does that? And when you're not focused on the material so much, that's when you can receive it. When you're into even giving the material as you can afford it, instead of hoarding stuff up, you open the door for more to come to you. This is why I'm in tears when I receive, because I know how much I've given, even been ripped off. And it's almost acknowledgement of all the things, not that, hey, God, I did this, you better give me some. No, I don't say that. But it's a good feeling because it took me a long time to learn how to receive. And right now, I don't even care about the whole materialism thing. Right now, we gave away the two vehicles we had before we moved out. I don't have a vehicle now. I don't care. There are people who drive past you, look at you like, oh, you ain't nothing because you ain't got no car. You getting on the tro-tro. Yeah, but I ain't got no maintenance on the thing. I ain't got to worry about it getting stolen. No, you got to have a vehicle now. I'm going to get one eventually. But it's not for ego reasons. It's not for materialistic reasons. It's going to be bare minimum. It's not going to be something that you got to, And I prefer to have windows where you physically roll them up because I'm scared of something shutting off and the windows are up and you got to break the glass so you have to get out in emergency. You know what I mean? The more and more I see it, the more and more I'm old school. And with so much inside of me to give to the world, I'm very content. So I don't need these things on the external to stress me or have them trap me with it. They can take it. Because at times I've had a little money, a little bit over and above. At times when I didn't have any. So I know what it's like all in between. And that peace of mind, that balanced soul, the fulfilling thing, you can, even today, when I went down into the town to have my water jugs refilled, I was like laughing to myself at different things. I'm on the van and the person sitting next to me looked at me like, and he scooted over like 2 inches, 3 inches away from me even more. Like, I think this guy's crazy. He's laughing to himself. I make myself laugh. I hang out with myself. I've been like this from when I was very young. Materialism, I'm not going to be sad because I can't get a Rolls Royce. No. I love to make people laugh. I'm in the house telling jokes to myself sometimes. Miss Scurv, you got somebody down there? Nah, I'm just bugging. Different voices imitating people and stuff like that. I'll throw a voicemail 3, 4 in the morning to somebody with a joke. Like, I woke up and played that, man. You had me cracking up. I love life. I love pure souls. I love pure people. I don't need to be around. Not the people who have things that are materialistic. Or you were the devil, or you worshiping that thing. You see, them people that say stuff like that, you jealous. And that's why you won't get the materialistic things. Like, okay, you can have them and enjoy them, but don't try to throw it for somebody who has, because you don't have. It's a double-edged thing. Because there are people I know who have a lot of money, a lot of real estate, and if you see them, you wouldn't even know it. Come on, black people. Too many of us get caught up in that foolishness. Not me. I think sometimes by the way I walk out here, they think I'm a straight bum. I showed you my dirty Crocs. I got a couple clean ones in there, but I'm gonna wear these down. It's a beautiful thing, right? Okay, what's the other one now? Disconnect regularly. Take regular breaks from technology and social media to recharge. Social media doesn't really wear me down. It doesn't. But I understand where most people, they have to. See, it's my mind. I thought up this show. I thought up to say and speak on the things that I want to speak on. So I'm releasing. And I'm talking about things I think that are important. Look, I'm open for suggestions. So it's not like, well, what I think goes and what I think is the most important thing. No, I say, hey, how many times has somebody said, Lance, let's do a show on that, or you need to do a show on that, and I do it the next day, or even the same day. Even back in the old channel, right? Which there still shows up in the old channel. Somebody might call me, but I don't even know. Like, hey, Lance, I want to find that if we can do a little show together, and let me know how much, heads up you need. Okay, when are you free? Oh, I'm free next week. That's what you're doing now. Big pause. You mean we can do it now? I'm like, listen, I got 6 hours before I have to leave the house. I think we can get that point done. Give me an hour. We make a banner, make a link, and we on. Oh man, are you serious? I said, listen, it's the Lancescurv show. I don't have to go through anybody else. I'm gonna get a bite to eat while I'm doing that. And we on. And during the show, maybe somebody will remember it. I might say, look, wasn't today the first time you called me? And I said, we're gonna do the show, and we on live 2 hours later. That's how I do. Because I lived this. You know what I mean? Missing so many comments, oh, wow. Let me just scroll up for a second. I like to acknowledge everybody. I'm just missing it. Wow. Diane. Oh, and I think the reason why you didn't receive a notification, I found out that YouTube will give notifications on either 2 or 3 videos in that day, right? If you do something before that, like earlier on, it takes up the slots, and the rest of them, you won't get it. But this show was created was it created yesterday? Last night? Oh, no, early this morning I made it. I made it this morning. That was enough time to be able to make a notification, because I didn't do it. Sometimes that happens. I don't know. I hope they're not messing with me. See, they used to come after me and shadow ban the channel all the time. I'm a new creature. Where like the guys were, man, I used to sell drugs back in the day. That's not me talking now, but I'm using it as an example. I used to sell drugs back in the day, but nah, man, I'm legit. You know what I mean? Well, I didn't do anything bad. I said speak the truth, and I still do in a modified way. But they can't touch me because I'm legit, So I hope they're not playing any funny business. But thank you for letting me know that. I'll dig a little deeper, and I'll contact some people at Google and see what the deal is with that. Peaceful Pulley, welcome on in. Peaceful Pulley. Let me see here. Tracy J said, these jobs will through. Okay, I read that one already. Okay, so what? I'm flipping. I'm bugging. Earth Angel. Yes, Grand Rising. Let me see what Reese said. My place is doing a picnic this week. We have to use vacation time to attend. They've asked me twice. Also, okay, NFN Shaka. He says, took my retirement benefits and moved to the Dominican Republic. That's right. Oh, you made it. You did it. Did the damn thing before you was 50. See, that's truth. To beat the system, that's right. Make them pay you. Crispus Addict says, appreciate you all for sharing your life experiences. Thank you. It brings me joy. It's funny to me. Like the things I've been through. And I'm going to tell it in a funny way too, because a lot of stuff was funny. Some of the serious stuff was funny. Some of the serious stuff is serious, but it's a vibration for me. You know, it's just, I'm not putting on and trying to be this guy. Welcome to the Lancescurv show. I'm anal retentive and I'm trying to be the one to be the news. No, we're hanging out right now. And if I could bring a little bit of information, which we all know here, I'm preaching to the choir, but there might be somebody curled up in the bed listening and saying, you know what? Yeah, that's a good idea. I never thought about that. Because I know everybody here in this chat room are superstars. I know that. I know that personally, you know. And Tracy J says, I won't be retiring in the States myself. It's not worth it. You're right. You're right. It is not worth it. I can't tell people what to do, you know. And if in shock of the cost of living outside in the United States, it's cheaper, your money goes further. You're right. You're so right. Wow. Just me hearing you all say that, that just makes me feel so good. I really feel good about that. I really, really do. And the peace of mind that comes with it. Yeah, you know, because we're building and building and building and certain specifications and this and this and that. Miss Scurv wants things a certain way. Yeah, there's sometimes like, oh, we got to go lean for the next week. But right now we know what's coming, you know? But it's the journey for me. I love the journey. And I love earning my sleep at night. Because I got up today and I was a whirlwind. I did so much and I'm like, wow. Like I say, I'm going to get my sleep. And when I'm up, I'm going to be doing stuff. Not where, oh, I ain't getting no sleep last night. I'm all beat up for the day. And then it happens. I know about that in the American system. We all know about that, whether we're retired or still doing the daggone thing. But at least you're aware to know what's up. You are the dream that manifests the reality, not some American dream. American dream is for those people so-called on top of the system, the pyramid system that they set up to suck out your life force. And they don't give a damn about you. Number 7, invest in relationships. Spend quality time with loved ones and nurture meaningful connections. Didn't we say that earlier? That's important. And people make jokes about cats and all that stuff. You know, look, if you're a man or woman and have a cat at home and that's all you got right now and no drama, more power to you. Because if I didn't have Mrs. Scurv in the inner circle that I had, I'd be cat man too. I'd have 3 cats. See, 2 cats, if they catch attitudes with each other, you know, that messes it up. If there's a 3rd cat, they can go hang out more with that. It keeps it like static. They don't get bored like, I'm tired of seeing you. You're the only cat around here, right? And I love cats. Miss Scurv don't like cats. She don't mind them outside. I love them inside. We got a problem because I want to see them running around. No, it's not a problem. I have the perfect compromise. Seek financial freedom. Create a budget, reduce debt, and live within your means to achieve financial independence. And I'm really looking forward to living beyond my means, you know, like now, you know, spending a little more here and there for building and doing all this stuff and keeping the platform, you know, going. That's why I appreciate any donation to the platform. It's not me. It ain't going in my pocket. It goes in my pocket and right back to the things I have to pay out to keep it going. You know what I mean? But when that time comes where it's like, it's you know, when you're building something or you never finish. It's a work of art. That's the way I look at it. You're always going to embellish. You see what I mean? So you can't see with cats. No, there's going to be some dynamic cats because they're going to be running around, you know, doing whatever. But I do like cats because to me, they have a certain spiritual connection with things that we can't see. I've learned that, right? And it's kind of spooky too. You're sitting there, you're chilling, you're laying back on the couch watching TV or something like that, something worthwhile. And you see the cat look up at the ceiling, look up, and go, and run out the room and say, what did you see? Earth Angel says, let me see, I'm missing so many comments here. Lance, you are a break from social media. Common sense is always welcome. Thank you so much. I'm not trying to be, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be that guy that putting up this image, whatever. And I do promise to make more videos for the Patreon and the membership, whatever. But I'm always going to do this. But I'm going to start that. I was encouraged to do that. I'm going to do it in a very special way. It's going to be super impromptu. So like, listen, y'all, I didn't even take my shower yet, but I want to talk about something. The real deal. You know what I mean? I want to get into that. And like I said, if it's 25 strong that get down in this community, you know, because before I had 117,000 people. And you know how sometimes you subscribe to a channel and you never go back to it? I guess that's what's happened to me on top of being shadow banned. But that doesn't bother me because the joy in exchange and to see everybody here and, like I said, to see you all get along. Because boy, in prior manifestations of this platform, there have been some scandals I don't want to talk about. Oh my God. We're moving forward. Number 9, embrace simplicity. Simplify your life by decluttering and focusing on what truly matters. I'm a minimalist. I'm not a pack rat. I like clean lines in a room. If it doesn't belong there, it ain't going to be there. No, I like to see actually the four corners of a room, right? Everything has to have a purpose. I like space. I like movement within where I live, and it keeps my thinking clear. You know? So when they say declutter, that's not just on a physical furniture level, but it's declutter your mind. We can do mental exercises to keep our mind clear. Where for the next 10 minutes, I'm not thinking about this. I'm going to focus on this task at hand. Something simple, putting your hands in the dirt to plant a seed. Going in nature. Just because. Go in nature and take a lawn chair, lean back if you have the space in a yard, a park. You might not take a lawn chair only if you have a vehicle to bring it there. Wherever. Not even around people. Go somewhere way down on the end and find your little spot. That's the best way to do it. I remember, I'm going to tell you all a story. At home, we're all nudists. I'm not a nudist per se, but I like the thought of being in nature and stripping down. I'm not trying to be somebody like flashing anybody or, you know, nothing like that. So when I got down to Florida at first, I found out this beach called Playa Linda. Not like player, like a player with an ER. It was Playalinda. And it was a spread out nude beach. I wasn't going into ogle naked bodies, but I was curious. I didn't want to go. So friends that I made down in Florida said, come on, let's go, let's bug out, let's go. I ain't going to get naked. It's not mandatory. But it was a different type of people that were there. They didn't give a damn. And that was a heck of an experience. And after a while, going like 2 or 3 times, because it was a different feel to the beach. It's just a different feel. So I said, okay, I'm going to be brave. People don't pay you no mind. But I was going to go way to the end of this particular beach. Now, it was actually right by Cape Coast, and you drive up this 2-lane road, one going and one coming. And it went out parallel to the coast, 26 miles. Every 2 miles was a small parking lot and a little bathroom area where you can rinse off the sand off you too. But it was only by the 13th and last parking lot where it was hush hush, the nude beach. So we drove up. The last one was packed. So we had to go off on the side of the road. And I say we, but it was me by myself this particular time when I got brave. So I got up, walked over the little dune and the steps that were up, and you see people, and you ain't seeing no beach bodies out there. You seeing old white ladies with their breasts down to their knees, and liver spots, and little white men, and I do mean little white men. But I passed over that by. People wave, hey, welcome. He's one of us. No, I'm not. So I walked past all of that and walked way down to the end of the beach. Nobody was around me. And I went near the boardwalk, took my bottoms off. And I was like, wow, this is cool. I'm at the beach. I'm all natural. Then a dude walked up. He was looking behind him like he wanted to do the same thing. And so it wasn't too far. It was far enough. I didn't feel like, oh, this guy's in my space. I was like, wait a second. Where are all these men coming from? That's why that couple was laughing. Don't go too far. I'm thinking they said, don't go too far. That was the gay side. I put my stuff back on. I got up and I got the heck up on out of there. And I knew something was up because this one white man had these reflective glasses on. And his head like had his head down, but he was looking at me. I got on up out of there, man. And they were laughing. Don't go too far. I walked back. They were cracking up. They were laughing. Oh, you found out. I walked down there, cheeks out, everything hanging, laying out in the sun. And they came out of nowhere like gnats. I didn't even see them down. They were up on the boardwalk, scoping. I'll be scoping. That's what they were singing. I'll be scoping. This semi-muscular black man, because I mean, at the time, I still looked muscular, but I wasn't in competition shape. That's when I first moved down to Florida. I'd been out the gym for 16 years, but you couldn't tell them that. This is our lucky day. Let's go down, wear your reflective glasses, and let's look at this black man. Oh, look at his backside. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I said, why didn't you tell me to the couple that was there? We needed a good laugh. We knew you were straight. Hey, man, it could have been an incident up in that bad boy. But anyway, it's crazy. The last one, redefine success. Redefine it. Measure success by your overall well-being and happiness, not just your professional achievements. Your overall well-being and happiness, which can't be to purchase something material. It can bring you a little rush or whatever. But even then, your emotional equilibrium should not be thrown off by the things of this world. It should be built up in a way where it's independent. So whether you own a mansion or a shack, or you're living under a tree, or sleeping out on somebody else's couch that's letting you stay there for 2 weeks, what happens on the internal should never change. That's the way it should be. And most people need to find it out. But imagine, especially those born and raised in America, that we're subtly indoctrinated in the school system. We're being told what success is. And that's very, very sad that we're told what success is. It shouldn't be that way. But let me drop this link here from the actual website so you can read the article that I put together, and you can go back and see it before I end the show. Oh, if anybody wants to come in and say anything, it's cool. Giant Gain, Giant Gain. Oh, Giant Gain just got here. I'm about to sign off. You know how I feel? Oh, man, you ever go to a party that's banging? And you get there and everybody got their coat on and they got their little plate of food. They're about to go out, but somebody's still dancing. The party's still going on. But like, everybody going? No, I'm glad you're here, Giant Gain, whether you come late or come early. Just a matter that you're here. That's the bottom line. Let me snatch the title of this show to put it by the link so people know what it is when they see it. So they don't come and tell me, oh, Lance be putting links up in the chat room. I don't know what it is I'm clicking on. Okay, gotta use both hands for this one. To put it up right strategically. Hold tight. I've been running my mouth so much I didn't know how the time went by. But that's a good thing. I talk so much I even talk in my sleep. He's been talking in his sleep. All right, y'all. There it is right there. Let me pin it to the top. And we're good. So that'll last there if you want to look at that article. I don't know if there's 1 or 2 typos in there. Got it correct. But if you ever see any typos in any of the articles that are on the site, please let me know. I'm OCD with that. Trust me, And yeah, thank you, Giant Game, for being here to love and support. I know that. I know that's in your heart and in the heart of everybody who's here. So, I said I was going to open the line. And if you can't make it in to say anything, it's okay. I always do this, you know. Always do this. I was so scared. We had a power outage for like 3 minutes. Not a little bit before the show started. I said, this is going to go on for long. I say, listen, I'm going to have to do this show through the phone. You know, but I got my little hookup again. It's just so much dust that I have been dealing with. In that month, the guys were here when they were finishing off the ceilings. So they're coming back soon. And it's going to be dust again with them walls. So I know I'm going to barricade myself, you know, but it's all in progress. And yes, Giant Gain, I have a lot to show you. I keep saying that tomorrow, in the daylight. In the daylight. I'm going to give it a few seconds if everybody wants to come in. If not, it's cool because I'm going to grab a little light bite to eat and hit the sack and get up and power through the day. But yeah, we're going to talk about some things tomorrow on a not necessarily relationship level where, you know, I'm preaching to anybody, but just relating. Something will hit somebody, whether it's part of the crew or somebody who's just listening. Like, yeah, I like that guy. I haven't subscribed yet, but yeah, every now and then he says something good. I think something's wrong with him, though. That's okay if you think something's wrong with me. I fell a couple of times and hit my head, been beat up by 11 police officers, knocked my head in the chocho the other day, blood coming down. Who knows? I got a hard head as long as it's protected with the things that are inside of it, right? So anyway, I'm going to wrap this down. And again, just let everybody know we have an imposter cash app out there, right? But my phone number and everything too, it was brought to my attention. The only cash app that I have is Lancescurv Live. Lancescurv Live. Before I used to have Lancescurv, before I used to have the Lancescurv show, but now the only one is Lancescurv Live, and the same with PayPal, right? So that's what that is. Now, listen, nobody came in. I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. Like I said, Lance at lancescurv.com is the direct way to meet me. Or give me a message or say, Lance, talk about this, or what about that? Listen, there's so much stuff out here on the news and happening locally and things you don't know that you find out about. And I couldn't believe the amount of children worldwide that are missing. I got to talk about that. I have to just make sure and confirm the statistics that I saw on TikTok. You know, TikTok does have a lot of good things. I didn't know this though. And nobody's talking about it mainstream because they're down with it, these daggone Satanists. Who knows what they're doing? It's body parts and sexual stuff. A lot of pedos out here. And it's ordained by the powers that be. Joe Biden did a couple things that was suspect there. I don't know. But I don't want to speak too much, right? I'll do it the same time. 5 o'clock because I started it at 9. That gives me enough time to leave if I have to. I do things here. I'll prepare from early. So that'll be 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If it is a little too early because you're getting out maybe at 5, then I'll push it back. Just let me know. I'm flexible. This next week and a half, I can be pretty much on the same schedule, but it's not going to change much. I doubt it because, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. Because the guys that are coming to work, they're not touching this particular part of the house. They're doing another part. So I'm good. I'll be a little bit away from the dust. It'll get almost dusty, but I'll be good. So let's just say until I change it around 9 o'clock. Power outages and stuff I can work around and get on my phone, is provided I've set the show up and the graphics. And, you know, I like to do my little graphics and get the sound right and everything like that. I'm good now. So anyway, anything else? Yes, Diane, thank you so much. And everybody who's here, it would take a long time to scroll up and acknowledge everybody again, but I did already, and hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Thank you for being here. And as always, it's a pleasure for me. It really is a pleasure for me. And I thank you all for being here. I really love doing this. I seriously do. Thank you all and have a wonderful night. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for sure. All right? Much love always. Lancescurv out. Peace.